They hate paying interest. They hate being subjugated, basically. They know what it's all about. And you've got the government in the Islam world and the religion are much more closely aligned, you know. And so it's a big issue. So they know what makes them free is not going in debt. So the banks know that, and they hate that. So they'll say, yeah, we'll fund you going in there and stirring these people up. We know one way or another they're going to get needy. They're going to want to borrow. They're going to need to rebuild after these wars. And you're going to, it's going to boost the stock market. So it's another way to prop up a failed economy, basically. This is the whole thing with the refugees and all the illegal immigrants. This is propping up a failed economy. They can't let a Ponzi scheme start tapering, or else the whole facade comes down and people understand what a farce the whole thing has been, what a fraud. The entire establishment is embedded, imbued, is overcome with fraud, inundated with fraud and corruption. That's what it is. It's all a bunch of bull. And we're all letting it happen to some degree. That's why I've got to speak out my video. Even if no one listens to my videos, I'm putting it out there because I'm not hearing other people talk enough about these points. The fact that poverty can be ended, and this is the only way we're ever going to extricate ourselves from the problems we have. As long as one person is oppressed, okay, nobody is free. Okay, this is an immutable failsafe God put into the human being. It's called conscience. Okay, that's good that you value your conscience. Doesn't matter if nobody else out there does. If you are the only one out there that says, you know what, I really care above all about my conscience. Other people say, no, you've got to compromise here and there. Stick to your guns, man, and say, no, I've got to understand this thing from his point of view. We all have access to divine eyesight, to literally see through the eyes of God, to know his will. He wants it known. He doesn't want it secret. He puts it out there in the daylight. It's all written, okay? It's all down on paper, and it's all logical. It all makes sense. It's all reasonable. God represents every good quality, characteristic, and attribute you can ever attain. He is the giver, the granter of true happiness. And there's only one way to do that. It's by approval from him of your belief system, your thought system. Those values you hold dearly, your treasures. Okay? And if I say, well, I believe UFOs exist. Now, do I say I believe in UFOs? No. When you say you believe in something, that's a very powerful statement. That's like saying you trust in something. You have faith in that thing, right? So it's very powerful. Words are very powerful. And so people come along and say, oh, you nut, you believe in UFOs? I mean, the laughter curtain and all that, and just everything you say is dismissed because you believe in UFOs. Well, no, you've got to say, no, I don't believe in UFOs. I've got no faith in UFOs, any trust in UFOs. Okay? No, I believe that UFOs exist because, as a matter of fact, they do, because there's been many objects all through history. There's been records of this, testimonials of unidentifiable objects that are flying around in the sky. That's a matter of fact. So, somebody to say that, you're stupid because you believe in UFOs, make sure they understand. It's sort of like saying, I believe Satan exists. Yes, I believe the spirit of rebellion exists. Those that hate every good quality, characteristic, and attribute. Those that want to rule humanity ruthlessly, like the New World Order cabal and all their associated minions. These grand deceivers and their minion deceived, okay? Yes, they want bad things for humanity. They want to get rid of humanity. In their estimation, we're a scourge on the earth, and they need depopulation, and they'll trick us in every way they can to get their way, to depopulate. And poverty is one of the favorite ways. This is oppression. People in the Western world stop having children. When they get squeezed too hard, their instincts kick in, and they say, for one thing, what the hell am I bringing a kid into this cesspool, this festering, rotting, maggot-ridden pile of excrement? That's what's happened to civilization at their hands. We've got to all stand up in unison and say, no, no, no. You can't do this anymore. We're going to parent you people. We're going to put you down one way or another. We're going to fight the good fight. And even if we fail, God's not going to fail. He's going to get his way. Good will prevail. It's stronger than bad. Right will prevail. It's stronger than wrong. Good will prevail. It's stronger than evil. Truth will prevail. It's stronger than your lies. Okay? Goodness will prevail. It's better than murder. Okay? That's what's going to happen here. So I know what they're doing, and everybody else has to figure out what they're doing to us. Psychologically, how we're affected. We're living in fear and intimidation. Okay? People don't have kids. They can't afford to have kids. You know how many guys out there are so prideful, they say, oh, I'm sure as hell I'm not going on welfare for nothing. I'd rather die than go on welfare, because they've been trained that you're bad, that you're weak, that you're just taking handouts, right? If you want to talk about welfare, why don't we start at the very top, okay? In 2008, what happened there? Trillions of dollars of our wealth was stolen, impoverishing us, imposing this debt on us. You're paying these huge chunks of money to your taxes. It's debt maintenance. They're borrowing money as I speak. Your debt is going up. You're kicking the can to future generations. Speak out, Alex Jones, about this. Tell people what's happening. I know you do point out that they're causing poverty. We've all got to do this. You've got to tell your guests, all of them, and you've got a lot of great guests. I mean, I missed, all this 28-hour special that Alex did with the Democrat National Convention. All these people, Federer and D'Souza, and the list goes on and on and on of all the people that he had. Boy, my memory isn't what it used to be. I never was good at remembering names, but there's Tucker Carlson is another one. And I made a list of some of these people he had on the show, but. Nigel Farage, Joel Skousen, Stan Deyo, Paul Craig Roberts, Ted Nugent, Diamond and Silk, Bill Federer, and more. And, there's some great people out there, but, I just don't understand. I know these people are super intelligent and probably more intelligent than me, but what I don't understand is why they don't get to the meat of the matter and talk more about, the plans of the New World Order and how they're carrying those plans out through the deliberate impoverishment of the masses. The last thing they want people to do is get a taste of sound money, because sound money is the way to turn this thing around gently. Even the status quo can't complain. They'll still be able to find plenty of workers at a better price. Their currency continues to increase in worth. They can go out and buy more stuff. That's the status quo. So nobody has anything to worry about. What we're talking about here is not socialism. Socialism is more the Robin Hood theory, right? Of taking from those that have to give to those that don't have, right? Isn't that what it's all about, the socialist philosophy? And I'm against that. I don't believe in that. But sound currency simply allows the have-nots to be haves, okay, so that we're all haves. It's a way to universal prosperity, just through increasing the worth of your currency in the aggregate, okay, because you can say, well, your currency has gone way up in worth relative to the VCR, and that's true, but including even the VCR in the aggregate, when you're talking about the cost of housing and the cost of food and water and basic essential human needs. I mean, nowadays fuel is so often considered, basically a need, because we've gotten so used to having it. So, this is okay. These things are plentiful, and there's no reason, there's no valid excuse for these things to be as costly as they are. It's only through collusion, market manipulation, price fixing. That's how it happens. You've got special interest groups that all benefit from jacking up the price of a particular commodity. And usually and almost it's something you need, like housing, that you can't get away from. So we've all got to understand very clearly, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, that your cost of living is a tax. Okay? And you want your cost of living to go down. If you looked at the cost of living right now, let's say go back 50 years, and look at what the cost of living was, okay, and just see it on a graph, that long trajectory, it just steadily goes up. And you know what's happening concurrently is the worth of your currency is going the other direction on a graph. Okay, what I'm talking about with sound money, that's because the currency's unsound, deliberately unsound. They can't steal the wealth of a nation with sound money. So if your money was sound, it'd be the other way around. The trajectory would be constantly up. That's called progress. That's what you want. That's a desired effect. That creates wealth, universal wealth for everybody. As everybody's currency increases in worth, you can understand how that happens. And it's all according to laws of supply and demand. That's progress, because you find ways to produce more supply. Okay, that it's very, very simple to understand this stuff. And that's why the VCR went. That's where supply and demand worked, is on something you don't need, a commodity you don't need. But you see, they couldn't let it work on the stuff you need, because then they could impoverish the people. They couldn't create this great divide. Of course there's class warfare. That's what we have. We have classism here. We've got so many people that are satisfied with their numbers, and they say, somebody else's problem, can't deal with it, social Darwinianism, I don't care, I'm a good person, survival of the strongest, go out and get a job, do something different, it's your problem, it's all your problem. When it's all nonsense, nothing makes sense. People doing some of the most important jobs out there don't require great educations, but they're absolutely essential to the welfare of society, to continue the wheels of society to turn. Okay, and what do you want to marginalize and subjugate those people? And you want to stand before God? You think you're going to find happiness when you're an arrogant hypocrite? Okay, you're living outside the bounds of the golden rule. Are you tapping into divine eyesight and saying, am I seeing this the way he wants me to see this? Or am I rationalizing it because I want to live with my own self? I want to live in my own little world, my own little cocoon, with my own little peers who are well heeled also, and they're financially secure, they're financially free, their numbers are going up enough, and so everything's all right, because that's somebody else's problem. Okay, I'm just going to run from it until when? Until everything, you get recycled and the deck gets shuffled again. And when you come back and into another realm, and you go, hey, sucks. This isn't even as good as the other one. Well, what do you expect? You didn't learn your lessons this time around. You've got to learn the inextricable interconnectivity of the human condition. We're very dynamic creatures. We're very special. We're made in the image and likeness of God. Nobody can deny that. You cannot subjugate, think less of, belittle another human being without subjugating and belittling and thinking less of yourself. That's the way it works. God built these immutable laws into your conscience. This is all part of being an honorable person, following your true, righteous, divine instincts and your integrity, your goodness, your righteousness, your uprightness. Okay, that's all we're talking about here. You've got to be the kind of person you want to meet, okay, without compromise. You can't say that, believing in inequality is okay because, everybody, nothing's ever going to be equal, and that's what, hey, that may well be true. And equality doesn't really bother me if there's a little here and a little there. I mean, in the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But I'm talking about your beliefs, settling and compromising. You can't draw the line. You've got no standing. If somebody else is to come in and say, yeah, I believe you're right, it's okay that we have all this wealth and income disparity out there, and it keeps growing and expanding, and yeah, you can, it's okay as long as you're doing okay, and that's all right. Look, it proves it works. I mean, just do what I did and everybody can get ahead. If everybody becomes a successful video editor, if everybody becomes a successful salesman or talk show host, or but there's not room for that. I mean, how many people are taking up way more than their market share in so many of these things? That doesn't make sense. If everybody said, yes, there's lots of money in dentistry, and so all of a sudden we all became dentists out there, then what? It's going to go, hey, I'll fix your tooth for $1. Is that the way it's going to be? So no more is it, the neighborhood kid mowing your lawn. I mean, he says, hey, the money's in dentistry, man. I went to college when I was 12 and I got my dental license. So you understand, it doesn't make sense. You've got to pass your beliefs by your own beliefs, okay? Like in Eastern philosophy, okay, they teach this with observe with the mind, your higher mind, observe the lower mind, okay? That's what you need to do. You step out and you say, you check your own belief system, your own thought system, okay? And see if you are rationalizing, seeing if you're really being true to even yourself. And then check in with God above all. That's the most important thing, is that you pray. You say, God, I want you to correct me. I want you to convict me when I'm wrong. I want to know. I want to grow. I want to be more pleasing to you. I want to be a fragrant aroma in your nostril. I want to understand this thing. What is the truth? You know, this whole idea that, you know, the system's going to break down if everybody was prosperous, it's ridiculous.